Hello?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
You're listening to the only podcast that admits they might know what they are talking about.
Sounds like something a guy in a van would tell me.
This is We Might Know Sports.
I love you.
What were my options again? Sorry. Come on! With Corey.
I hope everyone has a ball.
Kevin. Don't listen to Stefan and his crap rules. And Stefan.
Pacers versus the Mavs, which is, I believe, is also tonight. Oh, goddamn you, Siri. Stop. I've never once called you and actually wanted to talk.
He said Pacers.
Pacers. Yeah. There's a no-hitter right now. Bottom of the seventh. Oh, never mind. No longer a no-hitter.
Oh! You know it's bad when Kevin's correcting people on their pronunciation of names. You know you're in trouble. You, sir, are god-awful.
That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. It's time!
And here we go.
Wait. Trubisky sucks.
I got tired of getting cold, so just went back to the old music because I was getting tired of getting yelled at. So
Here we go. Episode 116. We might know sports. Trying not to get kicked off this time. Try something new here.
Back to the original.
Back to the old ways.
Sometimes you got to go back to move forward.
I like your thought process there. What do we got? March Madness wrapping up. NBA ramping up.
Yeah.
Hockey's ramping up. No.
yeah.
NFL's getting close.
Gotta look
Closer to
into when the
draft's
starts.
coming.
Draft.
Gotta look into when the Stanley Cup playoff starts. We got a thumb on the line for that, baby.
All right, let's get right into it here. Kevin's question of the week last week. Does baseball need a salary cap? Overwhelming yes, according to our listeners. That's a yikes from Corey.
Yikes. Closest thing we've gotten to unanimous.
Yeah. That's definitely.
There's always one guy, though.
I wonder who that one guy was. Probably Corey.
No.
Probably one of your weird Northwestern.
No
people.
Listeners are weird. All right.
Weird in a good way, obviously.
Yeah.
Weird, and we really appreciate you.
I don't ever consider weird a bad thing.
All right.
No. David Bowie, weird but awesome.
Portland. Keep Portland weird.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup starts in 8 days, so we got a week.
Days. So we got to get on that next week.
Yep. Next week it is.
Moving on to our two questions of the week.
Whoa. Up the ante.
Careful now. Question one. Who will win? I actually think this is the other way. I think you did the Virginia-Auburn game first, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Well, I like to go by chronological order of how we ask our questions. It's just the kind of podcast I like to run.
It's fair. What game's first?
starting with the order of questions. Nothing else has to be organized, but that definitely does. Virginia and Auburn.
Which is the first game Saturday night.
That was the first game Saturday. Still stunned that Virginia made it there. I'm not stunned Auburn made it there.
The opposite. I'm not stunned Virginia's there. I am stunned Auburn's there.
We have any tallies right now, or
it is 4-5. So 4 votes for Auburn, 5 votes for Virginia.
Okay. So it's going to be a close one. I like it. Then the other game on Saturday, Michigan State, Texas Tech.
Not close.
I still just can't. I can't read it. It's
Just had to wake up. It's got snooze fest written all over it.
you think so?
Yeah. They held Duke to 67. They're going to hold Texas Tech down, and Texas Tech is going to hold them down.
Say Texas Tech held Gonzaga to 69.
Right. And they're better than Michigan State offensively.
It's going to be probably 50s.
That
Probably.
Michigan Texas Tech game, we were talking about it being defensive, and what was the halftime score, like 28-11 or something like that?
Nah, it was awful.
They only got into the 50s. It wasn't a game.
That was a terrible game. All right, let's just move it right on into college basketball. We'll do 16 recap. Who do we have in there?
Well, in the Sweet 16, you had Duke just squeak by UCF.
Again.
No.
What?
They squeaked by another team again.
Oh, they squeaked by
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. You had Michigan State squeak by LSU, right? Or did they blast them? They blasted them. Yeah.
Michigan State and LSU.
Was a blowout.
Yeah, it wasn't even really close. Then down in the West region, we had Gonzaga, Florida State. Gonzaga handled Florida State pretty easily. Florida State made a little run towards the end, but didn't have enough in them.
Ended the
Gonzaga.
streak for Gonzaga.
About time. Now it's those goddamn Big 12 teams.
Those ACC now around a Big 12.
It's okay. It's 5 straight Sweet 16s for Gonzaga. I like that trend.
So next year, just book it.
Book it. They're in. Then we just mentioned the Texas Tech Michigan game. That's all you need to mention about that. I think it ended up being 35-33 final score.
Virginia just squeaked by Oregon.
Oregon gave a good fight.
53-49. Pretty boring game.
Then Purdue, Tennessee.
Awesome game.
Carson Edwards, ridiculous tournament.
Broke
Sad,
the all-time points record for first four.
sad to see him go down the way they did.
He beat Steph Curry's run in 2009 and Buddy Hield's run in 2015. They were the top two. Now you have Carson Edwards.
And then this wasn't even really a game.
Not in the second half.
Auburn just ran all over North Carolina. Beat them surprisingly in a way that I don't think any of us expected by
No.
rebounding them.
Yeah.
Then Kentucky squeaking out past Houston. That was a pretty good game too. We came down to the wire.
But then, well, you like to go in chronological order, so I won't give you a lead.
Go back over here.
Go back.
Well, if we're going to go in chronological order,
Right.
then we got to go Gonzaga and Texas Tech. It's going to hurt my heart. Gonzaga had it.
Good game.
Yeah, it was a great game. Gonzaga was in control for a lot of it. Just too many mistakes down the end. We're hitting open threes.
Texas Tech, to their credit, was playing good defense.
Oh, absolutely. No, at some point Gonzaga needed to realize that like they're going to tip every single ball. Like you have to like go to the ball. Like you can't just wait for the ball to come to you. And Perkins made a couple bonehead plays, a very big bonehead play at the end,
Fouling the player while he was
Yeah.
out of bounds.
which that'll live with him forever. Moving on to the Virginia Purdue game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was also a pretty good game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, I think they were all good games, weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an awesome Elite Eight.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
one of the better Elite Eights I've ever watched.
I think the games were determined by less than 8 points combined.
I know at least the first
Yeah.
3 were all less than 5.
Didn't
forget
Virginia
what the last
Purdue
game.
go into overtime?
Yeah, because Virginia had that 2
Yeah.
to tie it to go into overtime.
Jerome hit the 2 to tie it to go in overtime. Purdue actually should have won that game.
Mm-hmm. Because
And then
weren't they
Virginia-
down 3 with 2 seconds left?
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Yeah, Purdue made a bonehead play. Edwards threw it out of bounds, trying to hustle up the court. He threw it away, so it gave Virginia a chance. Ty Jerome hit the shot, and then in overtime, Virginia walked away with it a little bit, but still a great game.
Carson Edwards had 42 points in the game.
Yeah, the dude was nuts this tournament.
He was hitting everything. Then Auburn, Kentucky, Battle of SEC. Auburn lost to them twice in the regular season, I believe.
Not now.
Came out on top.
Close game.
First trip to the Final Four, along with Texas Tech.
Is it Bruce Pearl's first trip to the Final Four?
That
I don't know if he did it with Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know if he did either. I feel like he did. At least once. But I could be wrong. And then, like I said, all the big dogs are going to get tripped up somewhere. Michigan
His
State.
first
Well, not
Final
Virginia.
Four.
Those weren't even your 2 big dogs. You were
I'm just saying they were a 1 seed. They
Oh
didn't.
my
They're the
God.
only one who didn't get tripped.
okay.
Ooh, Bruce Pearl has won the Division II national championship, though.
But never to a Final Four in D1.
I count that as a Final Four, basically.
No, that does not.
Duke, Michigan State. Cassius Winston had a great game. Zion was Zion.
Yeah,
But
he set the all-time freshman record for most points in the tournament.
they couldn't get it done at the end.
24 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists. Didn't see the ball in the last 3 possessions.
He didn't have a great first half.
Nope.
The second half, he decided to shoulder the whole load and
He
kept
scored
Duke alive.
7 points in the first half and then just went off in the first 5 minutes. Scored 10 points early.
Yeah, I had all of Duke's points. That is I will say, Zion's competitive spirit all tournament really showed up. Actually, RJ Barrett for that matter too. Both of them are uber competitive, and that'll bode well for them at the next level.
Barrett had 21, but the big number that really stood out was turnovers. They had just Barrett and Williamson had 12 turnovers when the whole Michigan State team only had 7. So
That was Gonzaga's other issue. They had so many turnovers, way above their average.
Hey, when you play these good defensive teams, that's what they do.
that and
That's with championships or something. Fuck out of here.
that and Winston just seemed to blow by Jones.
Which is interesting because Winston isn't a super athlete. He actually plays to me like an old school style game. He just gets to where he's got to go, makes the right play.
The fastest I've ever seen him run was on that last play.
Yeah.
He was running up the clock. I've never seen him run faster than that.
Yeah, he's
He tossed the ball to himself and everything to make sure.
He's not particularly quick. He's just good. I don't know. He kind of reminds me of Chris Paul.
I think that was the only game I've ever seen Jones look like a freshman on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, Jones played great defense in the Sweet 16 against Virginia Tech. Really good defense.
He made 5 threes too?
He was the star of that game. If he didn't hit those threes, they needed every game because Duke can't make threes. They needed someone to step up and make them, and they were until Michigan State. They didn't shoot well. No one shot well from 3.
No.
Cam Reddish came out and made one. I was like, okay, he's going to be the guy tonight that helps them get over the hump. But that was the only make. He ended up going 1 of 6.
Coach K left O'Connell on the bench, fucker. Glad they lost.
Said you're glad they lost?
Yeah.
Well, it gave Kevin the crown.
Well, it sealed it. I would have still had the lead going into the weekend, but
Yeah.
I Like the guarantee now.
Yeah, it's done now.
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit.
Got to add to my trophy collection here. I'm running out of
Sounds
room.
like
Bullshit.
So, what do we think is going to happen here in the Final Four, boys?
Two big dogs.
Think Michigan State, Virginia?
Yeah. Do I want it? I actually want it to be the exact opposite, but I think it's going to be the two big dogs. I think Virginia is going to win the whole thing.
That'd be crazy. We talked about this, I think, last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To go from losing to a 16
The
seed
lowest of lows to winning it all.
to winning it all in a matter of a year.
I really think they're going to. They're built for it. Good defense, and they hit threes. They're the only one of those four teams that play that way.
It's going to be interesting to see how Virginia handles Auburn, though. That's the game I think that's going to be more entertaining of the three.
What part don't you think they can handle?
I just want to see what Auburn team shows up. Is it going to be the one that's been red hot, or is it going to be the one that almost lost to New Mexico State?
Yeah, their last 3 games they've been on fire. The SEC tournament, they were on fire.
I think Auburn's best matchup and their best chance is that Brown there, Bruce Brown, right, is a star defender, and he will be blanketed on Kyle Guy, which is going to be huge for Auburn to have a defender that can actually hang with him. Hopefully. I mean, maybe Guy gets hot like he can get and just starts hitting 26-footers and it doesn't matter. But that's an interesting matchup. And then so it'll come down to Harper versus Jerome. And I actually favor Harper in that matchup. I think he's quicker. I just think he's a better player.
Auburn's even missing one of their
that's going to be key.
Yeah, Kiki.
Yep. That's going to be key. It'll be up to DeAndre Hunter then to dominate the boards for Virginia, which he very well could do.
Auburn's coming in averaging 80 points a game. Virginia 71. But the over-under is at 131 with Virginia 5.5 favored.
Yeah, I think if Virginia controls the pace, they got that game wrapped up.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think
Auburn
this other
could find
game,
a way to, like Kevin was saying, if Auburn could play hot and hit their threes, like that game against North Carolina, they were literally baking in everything.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I think the other game is more competitive and it's more a toss-up to me. I don't know what does Vegas think the spread is going or have it at.
2.5 Michigan State.
Yeah. That makes sense. Can't really call it because maybe Texas, because Michigan State is not explosive offensively. So Texas Tech's defense could easily clamp them.
Right. That's what I'm thinking might happen.
And I also didn't even think about Texas Tech's coach. I didn't know much about him until this tournament when I actually started paying attention. Was an apprentice basically of Bob Knight. Studied under him for 8 years. I mean, we see what Coach K has done. He was the same thing under Bob Knight. So maybe this is the start of a new coach in a new era. That Bob Knight regime seems to be successful.
I mean, Texas Tech was a game away from Final Four last year for to make the Elite Eight?
Were they?
I think so. I think that's what they were saying.
I know everyone thought they were going to be in a tough spot this year because they lost Zaire Smith to the draft and unexpectedly.
Texas Tech lost to Villanova, 71-59 in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
An Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who played Villanova got crushed. I was telling Stefan off air, I think if that Villanova team was in this tournament, that's a wash again. I think that team was way more dominant than all the teams we're seeing.
But you were so high on Duke.
Just because I like Duke this year doesn't mean I liked them if they were this team last year. I don't think this team could have hung with Villanova.
What about Gonzaga?
No.
Come on, man.
Actually, it's going to take me a while to think of a team that could have hung with that Villanova team. Maybe Florida? Way back?
You're just getting ridiculous.
What about the Kentucky team in 2012?
With Anthony Davis and Kegel. Yeah. That's probably the most recent.
I was trying to go through all the teams.
I don't like that team. I think that's a luck thing.
They got hot at the right time.
Yeah, I think Kemba got hot at the. I think.
But yeah, he's playing at a fucking top notch right now in the NBA.
March is his month.
I think Villanova as a whole would beat that.
What about Steph Curry or Davidson?
They didn't even win anything. Come on.
What about the Butler?
Now we're just picking teams that can't win shit.
Well, George Mason would have made the Final Four.
What about the Cuse team of 03?
Greatest freshman.
So maybe not the most exciting Final Four, but I think it'll be some good games.
I think I sent that text to you with Michigan before the Michigan State Duke game. It's gonna be like the lowest rated Final Four in a while.
Yeah, they're definitely missing the star power. But
unless Michigan, well, really, I mean, out of the 4 schools left, Michigan State's the only powerhouse.
Yeah,
it's the first time since 1985. Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, UCLA, and Syracuse haven't been in the Final Four.
probably UNC in there too. Maybe.
Yeah, UNC. There you go. That was the other blue one. All the blue schools.
It wasn't Syracuse. He just threw them.
Well, Syracuse has been to a couple. Come on. But yeah, so I mean, usually you have one of those blue-blooded schools that helps with the ratings, and if Zion, oh man, how pissed do the execs at CBS have to be the fact that they don't get North Carolina versus Duke Part 4? Like, how much? Like, I know it's a long shot, but they were probably hoping when it got that close, like, ooh, just one more weekend. We're making money.
I'm sure, yeah, when they got through each to the Sweet 16, they were like, this could actually happen.
How do we develop a new Zion cam where we can embed it so it's just following him?
Dude, I will say, though, every time I watched the Duke game, it was somewhat exciting because of the things that kid can do. He was getting rebounds that were ridiculous. It was unfair.
He went over the Michigan State center.
Guy
Yeah.
jumped as high as he
up,
could, and
Zion went up and over, and thanks.
Yeah, just grabbed the board. Like, what the hell is that?
Thank you.
Too bad he won't be doing that in the NBA.
He will not be doing that. He saw when he played a tall person what happens. Not that he was bad. It just he averaged out.
Big news out of Kentucky.
Calipari.
Coach Calipari is signing a lifetime deal.
After rumors started floating around with him signing with UCLA.
How do you even sign a lifetime? Like,
I don't know. Ask LeBron and Nike.
how do you even sign a lifetime deal?
So after he retires, every year he isn't coaching, he still gets like $2.6 million.
What?
Yeah.
Is that real?
I think so. Actually, every year he's still with Kentucky, he gets $2.6 million.
But probably not when he retires.
No, he's getting a consulting fee, so I think that might be.
Oh, right.
He's going to stay on as an advisor, basically, so he doesn't go, hey, I'm going here.
Yeah.
Well, not worth it. Calipari's only won 1 championship. Why is he celebrated?
Because he brings in NBA player after NBA player.
But that's all he does.
I know.
He doesn't win anything.
Let's see here. 2 reported his retention bonus is $2.6 million for the next 3 July.
Well, not
To an
necessarily.
extent, yeah, he doesn't really get away with it. He knows how to cheat.
He's figured it out this time, though. I don't know what he's doing this time, but he's
He's been to
Maybe Roy finally helped other people out. Like, dude, just throw bullshit classes down on there. That counts.
Well, I think the thing that helps is he's 305-71 since he's arrived at Kentucky. So
No, I know he's like a winner, but like ultimately he's not a winner. He doesn't bring home.
yeah,
Let's also remember, like every 2 or 3 years, he has like that just awful year.
this is the longest
Don't even
dry
really get
spell
out.
for him to not make a Final Four.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, Tom Izzo's keeping his streak alive. If you stay all 4 years in Michigan State, you would make a Final Four. Statistically, every 4 years he makes one. That's ridiculous, by the way.
I didn't think he'd been to one in a while. That is crazy. Well, Izzo time. Let's move on to some NBA. So what do we think Zion's going to get for a shoe deal here?
I put that in because they said 7 years, $70 million for LeBron. 7 years, $60 million for Kevin Durant. Those are both Nike deals. Does someone like Adidas or Reebok swoop in and say we'll give you $100 million?
Well, I mean, Reebok did offer LeBron that.
Yeah, he turned it down.
Whatever he gave out.
No one wants Reeboks.
By the way, these are the deals straight out of high school for LeBron, and 1 year out of Texas for Kevin Durant. LeBron has since, like I mentioned earlier, signed a lifetime deal. He's not on that deal anymore. I think Zion will sign with Nike, but I think he's going to be around the $60 million range. I don't foresee them paying him more than Kevin Durant.
Maybe Puma jumps in there. Puma jumped in on Ayton. And
Does Zion trust Nike after what
I
happened?
don't know. I wouldn't.
He did admit the Kyrie is a better shoe. Sorry, Paul George. He felt that it had more sturdiness to it.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
What do you think? Where's he gonna? What kind of money he's looking at?
I mean, I feel like somebody's definitely going to offer him a bigger deal than what Nike offers him, but I think we all know that Nike is like top dog.
Marbury offered him the best deal, but he hasn't even talked about it. He did.
Starberry 2.0.
Yeah. Starbury offered him an amazing deal because Nike takes about 2/3 of all the money they make off your shoe. So to pay like LeBron only $70 million, they made a lot more than that for the company. And Steph in this video was actually explaining like the shoe. It's actually interesting, the shoe business and how much these athletes really are getting ripped off. And he goes, I'll give Zion a deal right now to give him more money that he would ever see up front from these companies. You know, I will give him $50 million in his hand right away, but I get all the rights. And he goes, he won't see $50 million all to get on those. Like I think he said he'll give it to him for 3 years, $50 million in 3 years. He won't see anything like that, he said. But you have to sign over your rights to me.
Yeah.
So if Zion was really all about money, he'd do it, but I don't know if he is, because thinking long-term, Zion's going to have all this money anyways thrown at him, sponsors besides shoes.
Mm-hmm.
He's marketable. He seems like a good kid. As far as we know, he's not in any kind of trouble.
Yeah, so far.
He's a lovable little guy.
Yeah. He's a
I don't
teddy
know why
bear.
I struggled with the lovable.
If he wasn't in a Duke uni, maybe.
I mean,
Is it a Q cutie?
Oh, jeez, you think it's bad if him being on a Duke uni and me
God.
on him? Imagine if he was in a CUSE uni, how he would be.
Would never hear the end of it.
He's coming back. I don't know what you guys are talking about. God. I'm also looking into the future for Syracuse recruiting-wise.
It's looking promising.
Stefan showed me that kid that can shoot. Him and Buddy on the same team should be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JG3.
He scored the highest. He's got the most points in New York State high school basketball history, and he did that as a junior, so it'd be interesting to see. They also possibly have like the best name out of the 2019 recruit class interested. He hasn't committed to a school yet, but I just want him because of his name. It's Precious.
Oh, Jesus.
Precious what?
Precious Achua. He is
Based on the novel.
Just based on Lord of the Rings.
He's a 6'8", what is he? Power forward. It's number 16 on the ESPN 100. Illinois, Kansas, UMass, Minnesota, Mississippi State, Seton Hall, Ohio State, St. John's, UCLA, and Connecticut are the other teams interested.
Those scrubs.
Hey. Oh, VCU too. Throw them in. And they also have another guy they're looking at a little lower on the list. I like how LaMelo is number 13 on this list.
Melo, breaking news, is not going to be going to college.
You think?
Well, his team officially announced that today. That's actually that truly is breaking news today. LaMelo is not attending college. I think we all knew that.
I'm kind of sad. I was looking at some of these, and if I had actually looked at this list before today, I could have gone and seen one of the number 6 guy on this list. I could still see him in a watch. That'd be interesting.
LaMelo? Could. I don't think that's what he's doing.
He's probably one of the few that might be going. That would be
I just think it's sad. At one point, he was number 1 in his class, and now look what's happened.
13.
Yeah. He's just destroyed. His dad has destroyed his stock. He can play, too. That's the sad part. He really can play.
Mm-hmm.
When I would watch footage of him, I was like, wow, he's better than Lonzo. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
He can legit shoot. He's long. The only thing I don't see is Lonzo is a really good defender. I'll give him that. And LaMelo seems content with being a scorer. But LaMelo can play at a high level. And it's just been ruined.
So what's he going to do instead?
I don't know if he's going Euro for real, or if he is going to go to the G League.
Because they're also talking about getting rid of the one and done rule.
I know.
Just let people come out of high school again.
Yeah.
Then what's Cal gonna do?
Who the hell knows? He's got that lifetime deal. It don't matter anymore.
Yeah, right.
I saw you mentioned Kemba earlier. I saw a little special with Ray Allen, Carlos Boozer, and Jason Terry sitting at a round table, and they asked. The question was presented: Is Zion the greatest college player you've ever seen? And you have an ex-UConn, an ex-Arizona player, and an ex-Dookie, and none of them said yes. They all had a different player that they thought was the greatest they'd seen. And you mentioned him earlier. Ray said he admits he might be a little bit biased, but the run that Kemba made, he thinks Kemba really is the greatest college player ever. Carlos Boozer said, I think it's pretty hard to not say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All 4 years they won the championship while he was there. I totally agree with that. That would be my pick. And Jason Terry being a point guard, I think he said Kemba as well. I'm almost positive he did. It was interesting.
Did anybody have an honorable mention for Adam Morrison?
No.
Sorry.
Nope. Sorry.
Check it.
I did find it interesting. Here's one for you. Who is the face of basketball right now? Zion or LeBron?
Who's the what?
Face of basketball right now.
Well, I mean, LeBron's
either?
kind of phasing out at this point. Right?
My honest question is it either? After this year, I think it's hard to say it's not Giannis or Harden.
True.
I mean, we'll see what Zion does when he gets in the league, but I don't think he's going to look like Giannis.
I think or globally, Giannis is the face of basketball. I think in the U.S. right now, it's probably LeBron or James Harden. Probably LeBron still. But globally, I think Giannis is the face of basketball.
Globally might be Yao Ming still.
It really might be. That's what's sad.
China's got a big fan base there. They're probably still loving on Yao Ming.
They love D Rose there.
True.
I don't know why.
Kevin, what do you got for your Power Fives this week?
All playoff teams this week.
Just for a heads up, we are not doing a this or that this week.
How did we do last week?
I will figure that out for you.
Can't wait for playoff this or that.
Well, Kevin and I picked the same last week on each one, so
I think I did.
If he goes over.
Number 5, Making their way back into my top 5, Golden State. Last 10, they're 7-3. It's kind of hard to keep them out.
Yeah.
Number 4, even though they lost their big guy, Portland, 8-2 in their last 10, so they're still winning even without him.
Been surprised with that.
Number 3, one of the few teams that actually have more than 1 or 2 game winning streaks, the Toronto Raptors, 4 in a row, 7 of their last 10. Down a spot from number 1 to number 2, Giannis in Milwaukee, traveling down a little bit. 7 of their last 10. It took a little bit of hit this past week. And then my number 1, I believe they were number 1 at 1.2 earlier this year, the Utah Jazz, winners of 5 straight, 9 out of their last 10. Apparently words are coming hard for me, so I'm glad I'm done.
Wow. They're on fire.
Woo.
Utah Jazz. Who would have thought? Let's just do this.
All right. Well, Stuffin's figuring out this or that. Do we want to talk some NFL?
Yeah, we got breaking news out of Denver camp. Chris Harris has not reported to voluntary off-season programs, but the organization believes it's a sign of things to come with him playing some hardball going into a contract year. You have the Dallas Cowboys who know that Randy Gregory probably isn't going to play 2019, but for whatever reason decided to give him an extension. I'll talk about that in a later segment. And
Yikes.
oh, the Lions signed CJ Anderson. I thought that was a big move for them. Kerryon Johnson is a good young player, but CJ Anderson proved that he can be a good switch of pace running back. Played really well this year in the playoffs and also the Super Bowl. So that's an interesting move. The Lions did make an effort to say that Theo Riddick will not be affected. He will still be the third down back.
Good old Theo Riddick.
Other news, breaking news, right before the podcast happened. Russell Wilson gave Seattle Seahawks a deadline, April 15th, to get a deal done. Obviously, he doesn't want to be talking about it with the media all year, it seems like, and he would like to know where his future lies, so he would like something done now. I'll be curious to see if they do it. Another player didn't even play, huh?
Where, like, he's not even, I don't even see him out there.
Good job. Good fucking
Where's John Wall?
He was hurt last time you picked him.
Well, he wasn't on the injury report. He's not even, like, doesn't even show like why he didn't play. Well, at least we're consistent.
So scratch that one.
So the only one that we did do,
Perfect.
Golden State versus the Grizzlies. Curry and Thompson, points and rebounds. Curry had a pretty good game. He had like 27 and 10.
Yeah.
Thompson had a less than stellar game with 13 points and 0 rebounds.
Who picked them?
You guys.
Of course we did.
Conley and Valencius both had really good games. Valencius had like 27 points.
It doesn't matter. We got it.
It wasn't even close. Total ended up being 73 to 51.
Okay.
So good try, guys. But another loss.
That is the fourth and last time I pick with Kevin.
That's the
Just
spirit.
kidding. I'm gonna keep doing it. You can't be wrong forever.
I think you can at this point.
I don't know.
I'm getting pretty good at this.
It's legit 50-50. How is this happening?
It's a skill.
It's like if you hit heads 7 times in a row.
I don't know. Moving on to NASCAR.
Texas, fast track, 2-mile track. Interesting race. Crashes.
Love them.
Love them. Everyone does. He had some big names like Keselowski have some issues early. Ryan Blaney had some issues. He was a favorite to maybe win Texas, get his first win of the year. He did not do so. The big story, Denny Hamlin speeding out of pit road, gets flagged for a penalty, has to go to the back of the line. Then again, he gets another penalty in pit road as a tire goes. When you pull into pit road, you have to keep all your equipment in a certain area. Tire goes out of the area, has to go back to the end of the line again. He was so fast, he still won the race.
Jesus.
He said he was really worried for his team because that was 2 mistakes that shouldn't have happened. One was his fault, obviously speeding out. The other was his pit's fault. And he said he would have been devastated because he knew he had the fastest car on the field by a lot. And it didn't matter. He got the job done. Unlike Mitch Trubisky. Anyways, we move on to the skill tracks, the short tracks, next 2 weeks here. Bristol, the shortest track in all NASCAR. It's only a half mile. People like it because it's bunched, clustered. It's all about technique.
Isn't there stands all the way around the stadium or racetrack?
Yeah, you can see the whole track.
I feel
Mr.
like that's the
Castleman.
one I would want to go to if I ever went to.
Yeah,
NASCAR.
Mr. Castleman, Mariah's dad, always went to that race because of that, because you can see the whole race. Yeah, it's a fun race. It's actually I'll probably watch this one. I haven't watched the last 2 weeks because they were starting to get boring. Nothing was happening. We're back into some races, actually the next 3 right in a row. You got Bristol, Richmond, and Talladega is a restrictor plate. That's balls to the wall. There's going to be crashes everywhere. So heading into Bristol, Kevin takes Eric Jones.
The Mr. Eric Jones.
Oh, I didn't even go over who we took. Kevin took Kyle Busch at Texas. I mean, when you take Kyle Busch, you hope to get the weekly. Be disappointing if you didn't. Kyle Busch got him 37. What?
Was that like a backhanded compliment to Stefan? Like he was the only
Oh,
one.
I didn't even notice that he didn't do it, but he didn't get it.
He didn't get it that
but you
week.
got a freaking 60.
Oh.
So, I mean,
Even if I didn't get the 60, you still would have beaten me.
yeah. Oh, sorry, it was backhanded compliment then. You should get the weekly if you take Kyle Busch.
I'm still in the lead.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Remember that.
Because every single person you take gets a 30. Doesn't matter who.
Doesn't matter.
Going right into that, you took Will Byron, who is known to do well on the faster tracks, and I'm sure you did your driver average research and saw that and picked him. And he did well for you. He didn't crash out. That's big. I did my driver average research and did the same thing. I took a young driver, and Eric Jones did okay. Finished 4th, got me 33. Kevin is piggybacking off that Eric Jones success.
He does.
Also, the Joe Gibbs success, by the way.
Also-
Only Joe Gibbs and Penske drivers at this point have won. So,
Also, I picked Jones because he's led at Bristol driver averages, the 3rd most. I couldn't take the top 2.
there you go. So you have second pick, Stefan.
That I do.
It's on you.
It's on
Clock
me.
is on you. You have 3
I
minutes.
think I'm going
3
to
minutes.
take a week off. I'm going to finally let you guys
Oh, we'll take the lead then. You aren't that far ahead.
Yeah.
let you guys
Well, it looks like Corey and I are going to be fighting for first place this week.
catch up a little bit.
Oh, actually, you aren't. You took what I call a top tier. You took Clint Boyer. Fantastic driver. Won 2 races last year. But going with the Stuart Haas team, who has yet to win a
They're
race,
due. They're due.
they may be Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, have all been doing well. Even Daniel Suarez, I think, had a really good Texas race. All of them are doing well. I'm going to go a little bit left field. Could be dangerous.
I like that.
I liked how he looked at Texas. Maybe Hendrick is figuring it out. I am taking Jimmy Johnson.
Oof. I was going to say, if it's not a big name, I don't know.
It's a big name. I'm pulling the trigger.
You said every 5 races, right?
Yeah.
Top tier driver. So
But this time I picked on my top tier list 2 in these 5. So I'm going to have to go almost 10 races not taking one. Because I pulled the trigger on Boyer because you guys went Kyle Busch Keselowski, and I was like, fuck, I can't fall way back that week. I had to do it.
To just keep this streak going.
We'll see.
30 points it up. That's all I do.
It'll be really big week for Kevin because we both took top tiers on my list. Kevin took a mid tier, and Eric Jones. Hopefully, he gets some points.
That'd be funny if I get like 40 and you guys get 30s.
You could. Eric Jones isn't that bad. He just doesn't.
I'm running out of names here, so.
Oh, that moves into Kevin's segment.
It was right into bucket.
Book it.
I'm pumped.
All right. Well, we kind of touched on this during our preview, but Virginia or Michigan State will be national champions. Are we booking it?
Well, you heard my proclamation earlier in the podcast. I'm not backing down. Book it. Virginia's going to win the whole thing. The whole kit and caboodle.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe that they're going to. Michigan State could win it.
That's why it's a or. It doesn't have to be one.
Okay, asshole. Because of that attitude, I'm passing this bitch.
Hey, I'm
It's all
booking
on
it.
the Auburn
Booking it. All right. Kentucky hasn't made a Final Four since 2015. That streak is going to continue next year in 2020.
They're going to lose all 3 players that they have now.
Arizona has the top recruiting class.
Which continues to be Kentucky's problem. It's really hard to do it with one and dones. We just saw Duke try.
Arizona's got the top recruiting class next year.
Yeah, I can't trust Arizona anymore. When they had DeAndre Ayton, they should have been way better, and they couldn't do it.
Well, other things happened. I mean,
I'm gonna say pass or doesn't make the Final Four. Book it.
Book it.
Book it.
Book it.
Book it.
Book it. Unanimous booking. It's been reported that Jamie Dixon or Mick Cronin will be UCLA's next head coach. Are we booking one of the two?
Puff, pass that shit. No way.
I don't think there's any chance Jamie Dixon.
He's already making $3.7 million at TCU. I mean,
is that like where he is alma mater?
That's his alma mater.
Yeah.
So.
Like, why would he want
And
to
if UCLA is content with making the tournament every year and losing first round like Cincinnati does on the regular, you can take Mick Cronin, but I would suggest not.
I mean, good in Mick Cronin's size.
Neither coach has really
expectations.
Neither coach has really done anything in the tournament. Neither coach is really known for their tournament drills.
I think Jamie had one good run with Pittsburgh,
and that was to the Sweet 16. I think. I don't even think
Mark
he ever
Field
made
go
the
there.
Elite Eight.
Did he go to UCLA?
So maybe he'll go there. Maybe he'll
Oh,
take
Mark
the
Field will
job.
go.
Just kidding. There's no shot. He loves it in Washington.
How devastated would you be?
He'll never leave Washington.
He'd become a UCLA fan. That's how devastated he
He's
is.
got it made in Gonzaga. He
cold.
loves that whole outdoorsy.
I mean, it gets cold there during the winter, so.
He goes like Alaska, I think, or something. Like he's
I
just.
think UCLA will hire Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes.
UCLA grad. Maybe LeVar Ball.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Everyone's ears perk up. What drama that would be next year.
Kind of shit
For
show
UCLA
would we
would
be
ton of money
watching
on
then?
ESPN would want to like have every single game televised.
You know
And
how
him
happy
mic'd
ESPN
up.
would be? They'd be like, "No Zion? Who gives a shit?"
We got LeVar mic'd up
Yeah,
on the
we had
sidelines. Just throw a mic on him. ESPN's all over it. 30
He's
games
somehow sneaking
broadcast.
LaMelo into college, even though he's ineligible.
Number 4, Zion will sign with Nike.
That's a tough. That's like the first one I really don't know.
I'm gonna book it. I think Nike's like that. I feel like he's gonna be like Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan.
Yeah. And
I
he's
feel
old.
like some of these like players coming out of college though are trying to like make a name for themselves and like go to.
That's what I'm
brands.
wondering. Does Zion believe that he has the star power to really like say, you know what, screw it, Steph, I saw do what he did with Under Armour and kind of make it his. Can I take Reebok or Puma or somebody and make it mine? I don't know. But if you go to Nike, it's not yours. It's not even LeBron. It's Jordan's.
Yeah.
It'll never be Zion's. So, I'm gonna say he does. Book it.
Fuck it.
Someone with a seed of 6 or 8 through 8, I should say, will win an
Just 6 or
NBA
8.
playoff
Fuck
series.
you.
We're talking. Who do we got?
So that means that either the Nuggets, Warriors. What's up there?
We'll see.
Let's see your Eastern Conference. You're looking at Pistons, Nets, and Heat right now.
Can the Pistons beat the Sixers? Nets beat no.
And the Clippers, Spurs, and Thunder.
Spurs over Portland could happen.
Spurs aren't playing Portland.
Clippers have been pretty hot.
Well, Spurs over Denver could happen. Oklahoma City over Golden State actually could happen. But will it?
Last year was
I'm
about
gonna say,
Portland.
you know what? I'm
gonna
gonna
book it.
I'm gonna go on a limb, book it.
I'll book it.
Unanimous again,
Last year
booking it.
Portland did it, didn't they?
Last year, New Orleans beat Portland. They did it,
Oh yeah.
and Utah upset somebody too. Utah surprised some team.
I don't know.
Utah played no one. Oh, Thunder, 5-4.
Yeah.
That was a 4-5.
It was
matchup.
it was only a 5-4.
Yeah. Before Stefan dies, Calipari is the last to retire out of Coach K, Roy Williams, Jimmy B, and Mark Few.
Book it.
The one coach that on this list is Mark Few. I feel like he's gonna be there.
Same. Yeah, a long time. Coach K and Jimmy B are old.
Yeah.
They're going out.
Jimmy B's done when his son is done, I think.
Yeah. Roy is struggling with vertigo. I don't think
He's
he has
gonna
too
die
much
on
left.
the court soon.
Yeah. He doesn't have much left. I think honestly the only reason he's hanging on is there really isn't a successor for UNC at this point. Coach K is trying to groom Matt Shire from what I'm hearing, so we'll see.
We'll pass.
I'll pass too. I think
Few
Mark
stays
Few's gonna
longer.
last.
I think he's gonna be there for a while.
Announced today, the AAF has suspended all action, so no more Alliance of American Football. Apparently,
7 games in.
the owner didn't like the way they were keeping track of their accounting records and just said, you know what, we're done. They had the money, they just
Just
didn't
got
want-
that $250 million infusion of money.
And that's the guy that went, nope, we're done. I mean, they were getting good ratings on TV, considering they were getting $500,000 per game. So it's unfortunate they couldn't. I think the owner wanted a deal with the NFLPA, so they could get some of those practice squad teams, and they weren't playing ball because their contract is up in a couple of years.
Could we just? I mean, why has no one hit the NFL with a monopoly? That's what they are.
They tried, I thought.
That's why they're the biggest business.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, really, what other, like, is there another basketball league that?
At least the G League runs.
but that's a minor league system.
The WNBA runs.
That's part of the NBA.
It is part of the NBA. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if the NFL just took it under its wing.
Well, the problem is with the NFL because football is only American, though. Like basketball is global.
Mhm.
So yes, we have the NBA, but people are watching Spanish, even though we don't, because it's not on TV here. People watch Spanish basketball, Chinese basketball. There's none of that with the NFL. So if you somehow got a glimpse of football in China, you have to watch the NFL.
What is CFL?
That's true.
CFL is about the only one that's
CFL.
really successful.
An arena football, whatever that is. American.
Something that's sometimes on NBC during the summer.
Yeah.
That's what that is. With that being said, the XFL is going to start next year. Will it last more than one season this time around? I guess the XFL will last more than one season this time around is the question. There we go. That's how you can book it or not.
Pass.
Yeah, I'm passing too. We're very unanimous on these.
Hate me later.
I think
I wasn't buying into these football leagues.
Yeah. Well, this one's gonna be
This is a good one.
interesting one. Stefan will not catch up on Game of Thrones before April 14th.
12 days away.
You've got like
A lot of time.
I will book it. This
Book
man will
it.
fall asleep.
One thing I did catch up on, though, is all the Avengers movies. I'm ready for that game.
all right.
Infinity War good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
3 hours and 2 minutes.
I was very
long is the
confused
Endgame.
because, like, going from Age of Ultron to Infinity War,
Mhm.
Oh, you probably should have watched Civil War.
does that kind of lead into it?
Yeah, that would help you.
Because all of a sudden, like, everybody's, like, gone.
Everyone hates each other. And no one
And I
wants
was like,
to.
what the hell happened? I was like, everybody was, like, fine and dandy at the end of the Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Civil
Like, why does
War.
everybody hate each other? Like, nobody's, like, in the same vicinity as each other anymore.
It was called Captain America Civil War. It was actually like just a Civil War.
It was an Avengers movie,
Civil
everyone's
War.
saying.
All
Yeah,
the
it was-
Avengers were in it, pretty much.
I was very confused. I was like, did I miss something? Was there another Avengers movie that I didn't watch?
Go
I
back
did
and watch
watch,
that. Help you understand a little bit.
On Sunday, I went and saw Captain Marvel, Kevin. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I love how everything is coming to that like movie. You really could not watch any of the Marvels. If you started with that one, you'd be good.
Hmm.
It leads into everything. Pretty cool.
I actually was going to start Game of Thrones the other day. But for whatever reason, for some reason, my Xbox, the Spectrum app on there just is shitty.
Well,
It just starts
Spectrum.
buffering. I just got very frustrated. I said, nah, I ain't going to fucking sit here and buffer every
When
5
you're playing
minutes.
these games today, son.
You know, I think you can do the HBO Go app if you have it on Spectrum.
I have an Apple TV thing also that
That too.
I was going to do, but that would have involved me getting up, changing out the HDMI cord. It was a lot more work than I wanted to do, so I just said fuck it, and then I started watching Avengers, I think, or something instead.
What was it? Did I tell you what happened to the HBO subscription I had?
You said you lost it or something. didn't
Yeah.
you?
My mother-in-law
Oh
canceled
yeah, that's
HBO.
right. Your mother-in-law, yeah.
And then we were piggybacking off my dad before that, and then because he gets it for free working for Dish, and then they had a contract dispute, and HBO was like, "All right, we're just not gonna carry our services on you." So
Now you got to buck up and pay for it yourself.
6 weeks, 2 months. Gotta binge watch every HBO show I want to watch. One last book it before we get to Corey's Yikes. Russell Wilson will be a Seahawk in 2020.
Book it. If you have a franchise quarterback, you can't let him walk.
I don't know how close they are in these negotiations. It seems like they must not be that close if he's like putting a deadline on it.
I mean, rumor has it he wants to go to the Giants.
He wants to go where?
To the Giants.
Giants, big market. That's all the way across the country. I don't. Huh.
I'm booking it. I think Seattle offers him whatever.
I do too. Plus, Sierra's his wife is from Atlanta but lives in LA, and the Chargers and the Rams don't really have a job opening, and the Falcons don't have a job opening. So I would just stay in Seattle.
Stay with your
Like
Alaska
your-
airline.
Like how you worked that one through.
Working down the line. All right.
I will book it.
We gotta get-
NFL
Yikes.
have a problem. Yikes. The players are starting to pressure the teams and have enough of a leg to stand on. It's causing issues. Got Le'Veon Bell, proved it last year. Now we got DeMarcus Lawrence, who's holding out. Thinks he is willing to just sit at home, not get any money. He has enough, wait out his contract and get paid. Now you have Russell Wilson making demands. I need this done now. NFL, you're in trouble. The players are winning. They're on that Charlie Sheen juice.
It's turning in the NBA.
Yikes.
Yeah, they got that collective bargaining agreement coming up.
Still on the NFL. Yikes number 2. What is going on with Dallas? Why would you extend somebody who's not going to play? How is that worth $700,000? Jerry Jones is on something. He's been on it. That's why they don't win shit. And he's willing to pay Dak millions of dollars, he has said, unless someone is willing to give them a first-round draft pick. No one will give up their first-round draft pick for Dak Prescott, probably.
I thought he was that good.
Only in my eyes.
So-
When I see him, I only see the stars.
Back to the future.
Number 3. Oh, this was off the top of my head. Now I'm losing it. Number 3. Oh, Lenny Dykstra, former
Oh yeah.
baseball superstar. Played for the Mets and the Phillies. Just pleaded guilty to illegally renting out homes. Has to pay some fines. He was in trouble last year for tax evasion and fraud. But this is the part that's the yikes. You can't just plead guilty and then walk out the court and go, I got bigger fish to fry, bitches. Come on now, Lenny. Yikes. Get it together.
He also is being called a racist in a new book.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't like the dyke.
I don't like it.
Moving on to number 4.
Yikes to the dike.
A little bit of bare knuckle boxing news. Paulie Malignaggi, Labov, I don't remember his first name, but he's part of the Conor McGregor crew. We're only there to promote bare knuckle boxing and Labov's fight that's happening on Saturday. But Labov walked straight up into Malignaggi's face, had some choice words. Malignaggi straight up bitch slapped him right there. And then said, I'm going to fucking kill you. That's mad disrespectful. It was all in their face. They had to be separated. Yikes. I'm excited. I want to see that fight.
Yikes.
Make it happen. Malignaggi said Labov's such a bitch, he probably won't even make it through Saturday.
Yep.
He can't win fights. He
Such
can't
a bitch.
cash what his mouth is running. Anyways, yikes. Number 5. Give me a second. I'll get it. Can't quite remember. I think it was an NBA one. Damn. Maybe it's just 4 this week. 4 yikes.
LeBron's done for the season.
Yeah,
LA,
that wasn't it.
yikes.
That wasn't it.
That was not it.
Yikes. I've been sick for a week. When will it go away?
There's the 5th one.
What else we got?
Just 4 yikes this week. That was off the top.
I mean, Green, Curry, Durant fined for criticizing officials.
Yeah. That
Nets
wasn't that.
Was it Porzingis?
sixteen.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There you go.
Porzingis. Yikes, man.
I understand why you left New York City.
At first, I didn't believe it. This girl seemed like she was out for the money. Then the texts come out. Yikes. Doesn't look good.
What did the text say?
Yeah, what did the text?
You assaulted me. Basically, it didn't. It seemed like he's claiming he didn't have any kind of relationship with her. The texts prove that's false. There was sexual innuendos. So yikes, man. Come on, Kristoff, get it together. Just because you're the unicorn, you got a big old horn. You can't be throwing it all over the place. Let's go. Get it together. Yikes.
She wanted $68,000 in hush money.
Yeah, that's not even a lot, man.
That's fair.
You can give her a Ferrari that's worth more than that.
Oh, she also wanted $10,000 to help repair broken nose cartilage.
Yeah, so he punched her.
Yeah.
Jesus. He's all about the strawberry shortcake maneuver. Yikes.
Yikes.
All right. When are we doing the show next week?
I am off Tuesday, I believe. You good for Tuesday?
Regular time it is.
Tuesday it is.
Corey's last one here.
Here.
The dynamic duo in person. What's gonna happen with that
Probably.
UNC? Are you taking that UNC blanket with you?
Yes.
We're gonna have to have a moment of silence when you take it down.
I'm really hoping for this championship. Part 2.
Part two.
Hard to.
We'll have a NCAA champion by now. Then, what else? Ooh, we'll have our first golf matchup of the year. I don't know. We'll talk more about that off air. And Stanley Cup playoffs apparently too start.
No tennis news for a little while.
When does the
Roger
NBA
Federer's just out there dominating. Won the Miami Open.
When's NBA playoffs start?
June.
No.
Start
April. Late April.
soon.
The championship is in June.
Yeah,
Just it takes so damn long.
it's in the middle of June. It's usually around my birthday.
Yeah.
Corey only tunes in June.
Yeah.
It's the only time it really matters. Anyway.
Peace out.